Hey there, this is Heather with TwoBlooms.com, here to show you how to edit silhouette photos in Lightroom Classic. Now, a silhouette photo is simply a photo where the subject is blacked out and the light source is coming from behind. Now, you will find most silhouettes with the sunset that's just gone down, so all of your subjects are darkened and the sky in the background is still illuminated. So when I took this photo, you can see all of my settings up here. ISO was set at 200, 50mm lens at f1.2, 250th of a second. So pretty standard camera settings for a silhouette photo. So you'll see there's not a lot of grain in here because the ISO was so low. Obviously you don't get any detail in the silhouette because that's the point. So I'm going to show you how to edit these and really help the sky stand out even more in Lightroom. Now there's nothing super amazing about the sky, so I'm actually going to just show you a few tips on how to add more color, more vibrancy, and just make it pop. Okay, so I'm going to start in the basic panel and just, add some blacks in there and some whites. Maybe a little bit of contrast, nothing too crazy. This just gives our silhouette a little bit more darkness. I might even add a tiny bit of clarity and vibrance, and we can always come back and resurface this at the end. But this is a good starting point. And I'm also going to add in some sharpening because I want my silhouette edges to be very, very well defined. And as I'm doing that, I can see a tiny little bit of grain in here, and I can just take that out with a little bit of noise reduction. So now that we have basically the starting point, nothing much has changed. We just added a little bit more contrast and sharpening. What I'm going to do now is come down to the color grading. Now, if you're using an older version of Lightroom, this is going to be called split toning, and it looks a little different, but it's pretty much the same concept. Now you have these three different circles, and you also have the three-way view. So this basically just changes the color inside your shadows, your midtones, and your highlights. But I'm going to keep it at the three-way view just because it's easier for me to move back and forth as needed. So what we want to do is I want to add some different color to the colors here in the sky. So I'm going to grab my hover over the midtones and just pick a color. So when I do that, you can see that the midtones have changed into this more pink color, and I can go around and change it any color that I want. Now obviously this does not look like a typical sunset, but this might be something that you want to do more artistically. This particular photo was more blue and yellow, so I could enhance it that way, or I can just add some more pinks to the sky. Now obviously the sky wasn't really all that amazing, so I want to just add some more color. The more that you go towards the center, the less color there's going to be. The more that you go towards the outside, the more color there will be. And you can do the same with the shadows. So if you want your shadows to have a different color to it, same thing. That's looking a little funky, but you get the idea. So I'm going to actually put that back there in the center. There we go. And same for the highlights. Now there's not a ton of highlights in this photo. It's mostly midtones and shadows, but the same idea goes with. So play around with this. It's a really easy way to change the colors in silhouettes. And another way you can do this, let's just put this back. Whoops. Another way you can do this is actually coming up to a graduated filter, and we can come down here and choose a color option. Now this is going to give you pretty much the same kind of look, so we can pick like a purpley or a blue color and bring it down just like that. And basically it's graduated from, it's going to be applied more up here, and as you go down it's going to softly blend in. And after you've done this, you can actually come up here and play around with the different colors, so on and so forth. Now this isn't as optimal for a silhouette, because if you're wanting to change certain colors like certain midtones or highlights or shadows, this limits that, but it is another way that you can add this in Lightroom very quickly, very efficiently. So I'm going to click done. I'm actually going to undo that. And let's go all the way down to my history. So I definitely prefer the color grading or the split toning to add the color to the midtones right here in Lightroom. So if you found this useful, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. This is pretty much a straightforward way how to edit silhouettes in Lightroom. If you want more tips on how to edit in Lightroom, make sure you check out the links that I'm leaving below. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.